Hi, folks. I thought it might be time for another update on my activity. Things have moved along relatively quickly since the last video I did. I completed Compartment Challenger Deep. I got the editing finished and submitted it to Amazon's Kindle Direct Publishing, and it's up and live now on the Amazon site. Matter of fact, all my books are live on that site, with the exception of the one I am presently working on. That book is titled The Orions Talon, and essentially it's a next generation book. In other words, the protagonist in my first three books, over the course of golly, three or four three or four decades, he got pretty old, and he just basically had to be written out, as did a couple of others. The There was one assassination, one killed in action, one just died from natural causes. As a matter of fact, he died from a new version of COVID that emerged in 2050. It goes to show you that the new book is set somewhere in the future. The primary protagonist in that book is Commander Quo's daughter. Obviously, she's a lot younger, and the characters that are associated with her are also a lot younger. But that's going to extend the franchise. Now that I don't have to worry about the ages of these people, at least for a couple of books, then I can concentrate on my writing, is what I'm trying to get to. A couple of other things that I've done. I decided to take a chance on a service called StoryRocket. StoryRocket essentially is a database that anybody in Hollywood or any other TV or movie location can go and see if they see something that they think might be adaptable into their media. And yeah, the source of the media that is actually in the database can be an agent, can be a writer, can be a publisher. It really all depends on who's got the rights to the material. Anyway, I sat through a webinar one day, and I'd been kind of on the fence about this service. I had read some good things and some bad things about it, and the bad thing is primarily that in fact nobody in Hollywood ever looks at it. And, who knows? But anyway, after the webinar, because I sat through it, I got another 10% off a sale price. So the bottom line is that the sale price was very affordable. It just you couldn't say no. It would cost a lot more to send it out via a PR outfit, and even then, you'd never be sure whether you were getting any attention or not. At least with the StoryRocket database, they track the activity, and you can see if anybody's looking at your work. So I went ahead and I purchased a 5-project package at a very reasonable price, and I started to work on my first one. And then all of a sudden, I ended up with just a massive snafu. I had used some old credentials I had when I was thinking about getting onto StoryRocket a few months ago, with a new link that was sent to me from somebody else. And the bottom line is that it totally screwed up my profile. I couldn't get on, I couldn't do anything, and ultimately I found a way to get back on again, and ultimately StoryRocket just deleted the database entry that was all messed up, and I'm good to go again. I've actually finished two projects, and I'm in the midst of doing a third one right now, and so we'll see if there's any real activity that comes from that. I'm like I said, I'm on the fence. I don't know for sure whether it's worth it or not, but it hasn't been a whole lot of time, and it hasn't been a whole lot of money, so it's worth taking the chance. Let's see. I think that's probably pretty much it. The new book, the Orions Talon, depending on how much activity I put into it versus how much time I put into StoryRocket, I think it should be published probably around February or March of next year. I might be able to knock it out faster if I wanted to cut it short. It would make the the editing easier and quicker. But I rarely do that. I tend to let these stories run their own course until they come to a natural ending. But just to give you a snapshot, the plot line is that Commander Quo has died. His daughter is now moved up to a full-time operative for the Asgard organization, and the current POTUS in the White House wants to have AV address an issue that he's having with domestic terrorism and things associated with domestic terrorism. As per the first two books, there's no federal agency that can deal with the problem effectively. So the POTUS at the time, it's a fictional POTUS, obviously, in 2050, is forced to go to an organization like AV on the QT to do what his federal agencies cannot do, and it's got a very, very strong connection with Chile and what happened in Chile from 1973 to 1989 during the Pinochet years. If you read or do any research about what took place in Chile during that 17-year period, it's pretty chilling, because what's happening in the United States is it hasn't reached that point yet, but all the precursors are certainly there, and the daughter of Commander Quo is going to have a rough go of it, because she's going to be in the middle of trying to eliminate an organization which is basically coordinating all of that activity. There's more to the story, but that gives you an idea of where it goes. And to be honest with you, I don't really know where it goes, because I never think these things out in advance. It just comes through my fingers as I'm on the keyboard, and what comes out comes out. I don't write out long outlines and plot lines and from A to B to D to C. It just, whatever seems right is what I write down. And for better or worse, some people would say that I'm just wasting my time with all this, because I don't do anything per plan. We'll see who's right. I'm at the point where I've got the time. At least I hope I have the time. I'm healthy as far as I know. My family is all healthy. We're all very lucky. My dad turned 94 years old in late October, and he's just cranking along. He's an amazing man. he still can run a iPhone and a computer and get his email and text, and he's just quite a person. Uh, all my other brothers and sisters are in good shape too. As a matter of fact, I have tentatively set up a Zoom meeting for all my siblings to be with my dad on Thanksgiving. But everybody is kind of changing their plans at the last minute, so I really don't know how all that's going to work out. Again, back to my health. You could probably hear my voice. Quite a bit of checking and a little coughing. Uh, I've had kind of a rough go of it lately. I don't think it's the cancer, but it's ever since I had my radiation treatments 4.5 years ago. Uh, I've never had a completely clear throat, so I'm always kind of hacking and coughing a little bit, and that's probably what you're hearing. Is I'm constantly clearing my throat. Uh, I guess there is one other thing that might be kind of newsy. I got a call saying that a place where I keep my snow skis out in Steamboat, Colorado, finally realized that I haven't been out there in a lot of years, and because of that, they want me to clear out my stuff to make room for other people's gear, and they don't think it's any downside to me because I'm not using them anyway. So I called out there and talked to a ski shop in Steamboat, hoping that they could just stash my skis someplace, and they couldn't do it. But the guy I talked to was a real good guy, and he told me that they had a horrible season last year. He said that not only did people not come because of the pandemic, but he said it didn't snow. At least it didn't snow effectively until the early part of January. They said they lost the half of, actually most of December. They usually have the mountain open. There just wasn't any snow. And then he said the spring thaw came early. Usually they're still skiing through St. Patrick's Day, and last year he said everything was melting by March 1st. So basically they just had 2 months of skiing, just January and February. And that's a killer for them. And I also went to the condo association where I stay out there to see if maybe they could accommodate me somehow, and it just didn't seem like it was going to happen. So the bottom line is that I'm going to sell my 2 sets of skis. They're rather old, but they're in primo shape. They would be great for a teenager that can't afford brand new skis or something like that. And there's a store in Steamboat. It's called Boomerangs, and it's similar to Play It Again, which both of them are used sporting good equipment stores. They bring in used equipment that people want to sell, and then they resell it for a profit. And I might be able to get a couple of bucks for my skis from them. I'm gonna send one of the valets from the condo association over there with my skis, and my directions to him are just going to be take whatever they're willing to give you. I'm not trying to make any money on the deal. So that's it. It's been busy. I've been hanging out with some of my Ole Miss buddies, watching football a couple of Saturdays in the last few months. I don't go every Saturday, especially at night. I'm not a real good night driver, so I prefer not to go at night. But they've been doing pretty well. They've been as high as number 10 on the AP rankings, and I think if I read it correctly today, they're ranked number 12. And that's not too bad for a little team up in Oxford, Mississippi. I was actually talking to a guy that I just met, but he's fairly recent Ole Miss alumni and quite a big sports person. And he told me that Ole Miss is about to tear down their stadium right to the roots and essentially rebuild it. And from what I think he was telling me, they're going to virtually double it in size. That's just an unbelievable investment. And to have a statement that'll hold over 100,000 people out in the sticks, like Oxford. The University of Mississippi, Ole Miss, is a relatively small school. It brags about how it's had an increase in enrollment over the years, but overall it's still a relatively small school, and Oxford is still a relatively small town. And all of a sudden there's going to be this Big Ten sized stadium there. It's just quite unbelievable to me. Of course, on the other hand, I've become kind of an old codger, so maybe it's more believable to younger folks. So anyway, that's it, and I'm going to continue to slug along here with my StoryRocket projects and my new book. Please wish me luck. If everything goes right, I will have the most recent volume done by February of next year at the latest, and hopefully some producer or media type of some sort in Hollywood will jump on one or maybe even all of my books. So got my fingers crossed. Anyway, thanks folks. See you later. Bye.